Give us one moment, let the periscope come back on. One moment. Thank everyone for your questions and comments. I'm sure this is a hot topic. We can be in here all night talking about this topic. But moving forward, we're about to go to another topic. We can have all side conversations held briefly while we're going through this other brief lesson.
So this is going to be real quick, all right? So many of you should be familiar, we have a pre-baptism class where we cover various aspects of the law and the schoolmaster to help prepare our people for their walk in Christ. And we encourage people to, even if you've been baptized already, if you haven't been through the course, or if you've been through the course, take it over and over again, because we're updating the course constantly with new information, right? Kind of similar to what is done in the academy. So one of the things that we often hear in the church, right, it's been happening since I've been a member 7 years ago, can we cook on the Sabbath? Right? Now, so that's always been a question, right? Can we cook on the Sabbath? Some people think we can, some people think we can't, so on and so forth, right? So we're going to touch upon some scriptures today that shed a different light than what we initially thought. Now, for a long time, we've been teaching that you can cook on the Shabbat, but in doing so, you're actually leveraging grace and you're leveraging do well on the Sabbath, right? But we're actually going to see that cooking on the Sabbath is actually permissible by law. All right? So, let's go to the book of Exodus, chapter 16. This is not going to be long, but, because we covered this in the baptism class, I felt it was important to share with the whole church as opposed to just the class getting that edification. I wish I had a couple plates of food up here to kind of really be demonstrative, and because maybe I'll have, I don't know, figure something out. Yeah, 2 bottles of water, so I'll use this as props. All right, so let's start. Exodus chapter 16, verse 16.
The book of Exodus, chapter 16, verse 16. This is the thing which the Most High hath commanded. Gather of it every man according to his eating, and an omer for every man, according to the number of your persons. Take ye every man for them which are in his tents.
So we're going to go into, he's actually referring to food, right? So he's commanding every man to gather according to his eating, right? The Most High was giving manna and things of that nature, right? Let's keep going.
And the children of Israel did so and gathered some more, some less. And when they did meet it with Omar, he that gathered much had nothing over, and he that gathered little had no lack. They gathered every man according to his eating.
So what you were able to eat, you gathered it and you consumed it, right? Let's keep going.
And Moses said, let no man leave of it till the morning.
So what does that sound like? He said, let no man leave it till the morning. That means no leftovers. You gather what you wanted, what you needed according to your appetite, and you ate it all that night. All right, let's keep going.
Notwithstanding, they hearkened not unto Moses.
They didn't listen to Moses, come on.
But some of them left of it until the morning.
So remember, the Most High said, eat it all. Don't have none left over. But what did Israel do? We started to leave food over for the next day. Let's see what happens. Come on.
And it bred worms.
And it bred worms.
And stank.
And stank.
That's how you know the Most High. He said, stank. That's how you know the Most High, brother.
You know your brother, right? Thank you.
And Moses was brought with them.
So, what did Israel do? We didn't listen. We were like, okay, I'm going to grab a little bit, we'll put it up for tomorrow. And that food kept going bad. This was at a time we didn't have refrigerators or anything like that, right? Let's keep going.
And they gathered it every morning, every man according to his eating. And when the sun waxed hot, it melted. And it came to pass that on the sixth day, they gathered twice as much bread. So
it says on the sixth day, they gathered twice as much. Why did they do that? Because of the Sabbath. So what's the law on the Sabbath? We read it, didn't we? Who said it? Who said it? You said no work. So you can't do no work. So they gathered twice as many. So what does that tell us? What's the work then? But what's the work that he's highlighting here? Gathering is the work, right? All right, let's keep going.
So they gathered twice as much bread.
They gathered twice as much, come on.
2 omers for one man. And all the rules of the congregation came and told Moses.
Come on.
And he said unto them, this is that which the Most High hath said. Tomorrow is the rest of the holy Sabbath unto the Most High. Bake that which he will bake today.
So let's pay attention. So how much of a serving did we grab on the sixth day? Twice as many. So this is why I wanted some props. So I'm going to use 2 bottles of water. So this is 1 manna for the day, and this 1 manna for the Shabbat. All right? And read that from the top again.
And he said, verse 23, and he said to them, this is that which the Most High have said. Tomorrow is the rest of the holy Sabbath unto the Most High. Bake that which he will bake today. So
these 2 pieces of bread that I got, right? What am I supposed to do to it? I'm supposed to bake it today, which is what day? The 6th day, right? All right, keep going.
And see that ye will see it.
So when it says seethe means to boil. All right? So bake and boil what you got today, right? Continue.
And see that which will seethe, and that which remaineth overlay up for you to be kept until the morning.
So let's pay close attention. We gathered 2 pieces of manna. What we're going to eat tonight, Most High said bake it and boil it before, right? You already gathered it. You're going to see. You prepared it. Because when you gather something, you got to do a little preparing too, right? So you ate that first portion, right? But I want to put the cart before the horse. So let's go.
And they laid it up till the morning. And Moses bathed, and it did not stink. Neither was there any worms therein.
So remember what the Most High said. Well, remember what Israel did. He said, don't store the food up in the morning or to the next day. Consume it all, because when we did it bred worms, right? So now we know it's the 6th day. We gathered twice as many. We baked, we baked, we boiled, and then we laid some up for the next day. Let's keep going.
And Moses said, eat that today, for today is the Sabbath unto the Most High. Today ye shall not find it in the field.
Come on.
6 days ye shall gather it.
6 days shall you gather. So now it's talking about the work, right? Gathering is work, right? Continue.
But on the 7th day, which is the Sabbath day, then there shall be none.
Come on.
And it came to pass that there went out some of the people on the 7th day for to gather, and they found none.
So you know Israel, right? The Most High said, don't do no work. Don't gather. Of course, Israel would go out there, would try to gather. Fortunately, there was nothing out there, right? But let's keep going.
Verse 28. And the Most High said unto Moses, how long refuse ye to keep my commandments and my laws? See, for that the Most High hath given you the Sabbath Therefore he hath given you on the 6th day the bread of 2 days.
He gave us on the 6th day the bread of 2 days. Continue.
Abide ye every man in his place. Let no man go out of his place on the 7th day.
All right. Now, let's go to the book of Numbers chapter 15. Book of Numbers chapter 15. And I'm bringing this out because I want it to be understood what the work is. And then we're going to jump someplace else. Numbers 15, and we're going to read 32 to 36.
The book of Numbers chapter 15, verse 32. And while the children of Israel were in the wilderness, they found a man gathering sticks upon the Sabbath. And they that found him...
So what was the work that man was doing? He was gathering, right? Let's continue.
And they that found him gathering sticks brought him unto Moses and Aaron, and to all the congregation. And they put him in a ward, because it was not declared what should be done to him. And the Most High said unto Moses, the man shall be surely put to death. All the congregation shall stone him with stones without the camp.
So now we saw the judgment for doing work on the Sabbath.
And all the congregation brought him without the camp and stoned him with stones, and he died. And the Most High commanded Moses. As the Most High commanded Moses.
So if you have your book of Jubilees, let's turn to chapter 50.
The book of Jubilees, chapter 50, the middle of verse 7. 6 days shalt thou labor, but on the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy power. In it ye shall do no manner of work. Ye and your sons and your men servants and your maid servants and all your cattle and the sojourner also who is with you. And the man that does any work on all shall die. Whoever desecrates that day, whoever lies with wife, or whoever...
So remember, Isaiah 58, you cannot do your own pleasure on the Sabbath. So husband, wives can't lay together. You can't do none of your own pleasure, right? So if you like working out or playing ball, anything of that nature, the Sabbath is reserved for the Most High only. All right? Let's continue.
Or whoever says he will do something on it, that he will set out on a journey thereon in regard to any buying or selling.
So the only journey that we should be going out on the Shabbat day is to the congregation, to the church. Right? Let's continue.
And whoever draws water thereon, which he had not prepared for himself.
Now this is key. Read that again.
Whoever draws water.
Drawing water. Who knows what that is, right? You got a well, you're drawing water. Right? So it's drawing water. If I turn on the water faucet in my house, is that work? Because it's water, right? But he's saying whoever draws water, right? Let's keep going.
Draws water thereon which he had not prepared for himself on the 6th day.
Come on.
And whoever takes up a burden to carry it out of his tent or out of his house.
So stop right there. So drawing water was a form of work. You get kind of tired doing that, right? Bringing a burden out of your house, right? So man, you know, you forgot to put the trash out. Oh, well, hey, you know, trash might have to sit for a day. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep going.
You shall die.
You shall die, right? Come on.
You shall not do no work.
Now, listen closely. You should not do any work. No work, come on.
Whatever on the Sabbath day.
Whatever on the Sabbath day. Come on.
Save what ye have prepared.
Say that one more time.
Basically, accept what you have prepared.
So the word save means accept. So the context of the scripture here is we can do no work on the Sabbath day except unless there's an exception here, right? Just read it word by word, very slow.
You shall do no work whatever on the Sabbath day, save,
except,
unless what ye have prepared.
What you have prepared. So, let's keep reading.
For yourselves on the 6th day.
So, there was something that you did on the 6th day. What did you do on the 6th day? You gathered how many? Twice as many. What did you do to the first portion? No, before. What did you do before you eat it? You baked it, and you did what else? You boiled it. You cooked it. Right? Read that again.
From the top. You shall do no work whatever on the Sabbath day, except, save, unless,
come on,
what ye have prepared for yourselves on the 6th day.
So, on the 6th day, you prepared something to do what? To be what? Cooked. So the one exception that you have, that the Most High is saying, is that you did all your gathering already. You bought the chicken. You bought the collard greens. You gathered, you got all your spices. You prepared it on the 6th day. You seasoned it, put a little hot sauce on it. You baked and you boiled that first portion. What you didn't bake or boil, you stored up. Now, and it also shows that cooking is work. It is work. But he says, except, because what you would have to explain is, what's the exception? Eating is not work. So you already prepared it to be cooked. You cook it on the Shabbat day. That work is allowed. Right? Unless you can show the exception is eating, which is not. The exception is doing work to something that you prepared on the 6th day. That work was the baking and the boiling and the cooking. Right? Finish that off.
So as to eat and drink.
So as to eat. The exception was work, do the work that was prepared so you can eat.
And drink.
And drink.
And rest.
And rest.
And keep the Sabbath from all work on that day, and to bless the Most High your power, who has given you a day of festival and a holy day.
Come on.
An honor which the Most High has given to Israel, that they should eat and drink.
Come on.
And be satisfied on this festival day, and rest thereon from all labor which belongs to the labor of the children of man.
You can stop right there. So, there is an exception that the Most High allows for a certain type of work that must be done to the food that you gathered and was prepared to be baked and boiled. The exception or the work that's allowed is the actual cooking of the food that was prepared. Right? So, go ahead.
I was going to say, just like, because some people like to say, well...
I hope I didn't confuse anybody, because... Go ahead.
Some people like to say, like it says, the drawing of the water. Like, he made a great point. That when you're drawing water, you're doing work. When you're turning a faucet, you're not doing work. So some people will say, well, I can't turn on fire. because that's kindling fire, but it's not, because when they kindled fire back then, you had to work to kindle that fire. You got to work to start a fire. But turn on your stove, it's already lit.
That's a great point. So if we say, and that's the actual point. Starting a fire was work. Bo, you're a fireman, right? How long would it take you? Yeah, I know. You being a fire, you're an expert on fire. If you didn't have any of the modern day supplies, if you will, how long would it take you as a fireman to start a fire?
You'd be out there all day.
You'd be out there all day.
You'll have to gather certain things in order to create the necessity to make it.
Well, how long would that take you?
I mean, if you had the modern day things, you could get some oil or some type of gasoline. You get the fuel, which is wood or like cotton, something that burns. You have that to get heat.
This says it's going to take you a long time. Like 20, 30 minutes. Oh, we're going to get to the questions once you finish. Once you finish, you're going to get because I know it's out of time. I only got one more.
So the actual fire is not work. The work was starting the fire, right? The same way water is not work, right? Because this, as a parallel, the scriptures say you can't draw water on the Sabbath day. So that means if we're not looking at it the right way, someone might say, well, you know what? I can't turn on the water in my house because I'm drawing water.
Then you funky on the Sabbath.
Then you funky on the Sabbath, right? You stink, as the Most High said. So it's not, the water was not the sin, it was the work that went into providing yourself the water. All right? Brother John. Right, the pot, yeah. Yeah.
One of the questions didn't even involve that the water. The well wasn't like right outside the house.
And you got to go on a journey for it.
So that goes into you can't take a journey on the Shabbat, right? And then you got to bring the water back. That's a burden. You see what I'm saying? But if you're in your house, turn on the water, it's not a sin. There's no work involved in that, right? Yes, brother.
So in other countries like Haiti, the people actually were satisfied.
Yes.
Compared to us here, does that mean that it's acceptable to us here?
That's actually the question. What I would say is we can't do any work on the Shabbat. So if we got to work to start that fire, that's work. We got to make sure that fire is already started and we're good until the morning, till the day, right? If it's work, we can't do it.
And that's why they gathered enough sticks and stuff like that for the days. Because they started that fire on Friday, they had the wood right there. You just pick the wood up and just chuck a log on it, chuck a stick on it, everything like that. I think Brother Jerron had a question as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, a couple years ago, we used to practice trying to put a fire together.
It took a long time. So the Most High, He wants us on the Sabbath day to do what? Worship and praise Him. Not trying to start a fire, which is work, right? And I was hoping Bo would say something like that. I could do that in like half hour. I was going to say, I can't wait to tabernacle. I want to see this. But, so, any questions, any comments? You got another one?
I was going to have one more precept.
I'm cool. Any questions? Is it clear? Because I know in the baptism call, I was explaining it, and the sister just said, okay, I get it. I can just prepare the chicken, and then I cook a little bit on the Sabbath, and then I cook the rest the next day. And everyone understood. But the way I did it, I guess it was a little complicated. So, but is that clear? Does everybody understand that, or is it still? Come on now, Israel. Yes.
I just have a comment.
Sure.
So we're very modernized now, so this is okay for now. But when we leave Babylon, we will never be more real.
Yes.
The drawing of the water and the kindling of the fire or keeping it going. It's okay now, but we won't really see the effect till we actually have to live in the reality of not having convenience.
I'm sorry. So as
saying that we are very modernized now. We're living in convenience. So we have for showering, we can turn on the water. For cooking, we have on the stove to kindle the fire for us. It's not something we have to do. But when we leave this place, it will be more real of being able to really see how we can observe the Sabbath, of preparing a double portion, and being able to prepare what we need on the 6th day in order to be prepared for the Sabbath. That's all this means.
No, you're right. I mean, eventually when we don't have these modern conveniences, we're going to have to really come back. And the main point is avoid work, right? So if you're cooking for the Sabbath feast, you should do your best to avoid having to buy stuff on the Shabbat, right? If you can, try to prepare your food before the Shabbat. But it's okay to cook on the Shabbat, right? Now, there's grace for these things. We're in captivity. You might not be able to prepare your food because of your work schedule. All right? You're doing well. That's what grace covers us. You're doing well on the Shabbat, right? But in terms of it being permissible to cook, it's allowed. Because that's the exception that the Most High gave us, right? Okay. Brother Jamar.
In other words, the main thing is preparation. So once you prepare your food or whatever, in fact, it should be preparation begins just after the Sabbath, or the next Sabbath. Because I learned that right? You have to prepare your clothing, prepare whatever, prepare your food, prepare your soul, your mind, for preparation. So then, for instance, we cook Friday, warming up on Sabbath, because if we put it in the fridge, it's going to be cold. But so you're saying because like warming it up would be work, because it's already prepared.
So cooking is work. Right, according to the scriptures. But he gave that exception for us to be able to cook that what we prepared. So if you prepared your food already, you know what I'm saying, you can cook that food, right? If you don't have to do any gathering, right? You got your lamb chops, right? You got all your seasoning. You ain't got to run out and go to the store. You see what I'm saying? You can cook that food. Right, because it's about the feast day. So, and then, so we were teaching it that you were utilizing grace to cover cooking, period. But it's not necessarily so. The cooking is allowed. Grace may come in where you can't necessarily prepare your food before the 6 days over. You see what I'm saying? And a lot of us are going to be challenged to do that. You know what I'm saying? So, that's what we need grace for.
Yeah, so my understanding is that you prepare your food from Monday, from Shabbat to Friday, after Shabbat, right? So then, in case you do have to do a little cooking on the Sabbath, you're already prepared the food or whatever it is. So then you say that grace will cover that.
Yeah. So let's say, for example, you got a box. I don't know about ultra processed foods now, but let's say you got a box of what do you call it? What do you call that stuff you eat? Macaroni. How do you know I was thinking that? Oh my goodness. Judah. So let's say you got that box of macaroni and cheese, right? It's already prepared. The ingredients and everything in there. You just gotta cook it. That's permissible. You see what I'm saying? It's in a box. It's already prepared. You ain't gotta do anything. Boil the water. So that's allowed. You see what I'm saying? You gathered it already. You bought it yesterday. Boom. You know what I'm saying? You want to eat it tonight.
You can fry chicken?
Yeah, you can fry chicken.
I
Yeah.
know someone else may ask you this.
Oh yeah. You can fry your chicken. I know you do.
No, I don't eat fried chicken.
Yeah, because
We'll if you don't mind.
yes, Malcolm.
So a situation
Okay.
like that, like mac and cheese, whatever the case may be, if there's no preparation required, then it's not an issue.
Yeah, it's not an issue of grace.
Cheese or something like cabinet or whatever the case may be. If
Exactly.
it's already purchased, prepared,
Exactly.
ready, then it's not an issue.
You want to drink some hot tea?
That
Right?
bag is prepared.
Yeah, it's already prepared. You don't have to prepare anything. You just boil the water.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So
Or just put it in the pan. Or
Exactly.
Basically, that preparation is just having it.
Right.
It's just having it in the house. As long as it's purchased, you already prepared for it. Because you got your seasons, you got your meat, you got everything there. So the work was going out. I mean, that part. Yeah, the food shopping was the extra work, but the other part of cooking is okay. But we should try to cook before, so we don't have to. So you can basically chill.
right,
Chill.
exactly.
You know.
That's if we can do that. Cook before the sundown when the Sabbath starts, and you eat that first portion that you gathered. That way, like you said, you can chill. You can focus on the Most High. You see what I'm saying? But, we know everybody's situation is different, so not everybody's going to be able to do it. But we wanted to make the point that the cooking is not the sin. It's not sin. All right. Brother Alfred.
So, like, one thing that my family did for them was that,
I know everybody when we talk about this, they were like, man, I don't know if they can. Listen, I'm gonna tell you something. When the elders used to come down with new stuff, like we would be in the men's chat, just debating it and going over it. But like when they came down with the Enoch calendar, man, we wrestled with that for like a month until we realized, like, man, they all right. You know what I'm saying? So it's okay. Brother Alfred.
So pretty much like it's like how me and my family used to prepare for the is that we would buy everything on the 6th day and cook sometimes we would just cook everything on the 6th day so that we would have food prepared and ready. We eat one meal on the 6th day and then we have a meal set up for Shabbat. So
Wow. Nah, that's with your family the whole witness at all?
No.
I mean 7 Days.
no.
No? Okay. Wow. Yes. Sister Adriana.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Even though I understand it, it was you prepare and you cook on the Friday before sunset for the Sabbath. But on the feast days, the most holy 3 feast days, which is the feast that we talk about the tabernacle,
Right.
you can cook on those days on the Sabbath because it's a feast. And Amita said I have a different Bible.
Okay.
I'm trying to look for it.
Okay.
I may be wrong, but that is how, the years of being here with gathering the presence, how I understand it.
That's how
So
we
now
taught it,
she's
yeah.
coming back to say that, you know what, you can cook on Saturday once you buy everything and have it.
Right.
I know Israel. They're going to be cooking and be late for church.
Yeah, please don't be late for
But
church.
then that is how I understand it, because I remember one tabernacle, I was with Sister Patricia and we were cooking fish. And we cooked fish all morning that we was eating late going, and a lot of person had that concern.
Okay.
Why are we cooking? And she brought the scripture to us, showing that you could cook on the Sabbath for the feast. Because in the olden days, when you had to take your animal for that sacrifice on the feast,
Right.
all of that was done
Exactly.
on the feast day.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Go ahead, keep
So,
going.
I think I just gotta read some more. But I think I'm concerned with making the fire. You don't want to make that fire, but then if you have the fire already lit, you can kindle it. And I know that from Passover, from Tabernacles.
No, that's exactly it. But so that is how we taught it. But knowing now or understanding that every Shabbat is actually a feast day, so it was actually permissible every Shabbat. And you actually brought up a point about they would cook and eat the sacrifice in the temple that day. Like that's in the book of Leviticus. So you kind of, I'm up here trying to turn and find out where that scripture is.
Hold on. Another question.
Go ahead. Someone else had a question?
Just in.
From being in the church for a while, I know that it's kind of not new because when I've heard this very same thing from Elder Gabar back when we didn't used to meet Shabbat in New Jersey.